Everyone. So when you schedule with tech support for setup of your Haolic UX7 UV DTF printer, you'll be sent two videos covering assembly and film installation. This is a companion video to answer some of the questions I had during the setup process for anyone else looking at a UV DTF printer. A lot of time did go into this video, so if you do plan to purchase a printer, be sure to use my promo code at the bottom, AAKC Craft, for $100 off. So let's go ahead and start the video. And we start off with just what's in the package. So we'll pause right here. This is a box of goodies. And then you have your brackets that go in the front that hold film B. You have your brackets that go in the back right here. So this is the right here is the cutter. The cutter is probably going to come in a cardboard tube. You're going to need that, so make sure you don't throw it away. This is your ink holder right here. This is the roller for the waste film. And then the box has tools, extra screws, spare parts, all sorts of goodies. So those first brackets go in the bottom two of four holes. So you can't really tell in the video where they go, but there are four holes and they go in the bottom two. And those go in the top two holes. So that motor has a weird three-prong plug, and I had a moment of panic thinking I was going to need some kind of a converter. Doesn't plug into the wall, it plugs into the actual machine itself, which you'll see more towards the end of the video. So my tubes were already threaded, but one of the tubes was missing a label. So keep your eye out because your magenta tube should have that red tag on it and mine didn't, and we had to do a lot of troubleshooting to figure out which one was which. If you look, they all have a little battery on the top. I'm guessing that's what powers the low ink sensor. And it does not matter which one of the ports that the tube connects to. And then the varnish and the white all have 3 ports, and you just connect to 2 of them. So you have a pretty good view of where that goes. Alright, so those screws were not attached to the end of my cutter, they were actually in that box of goodies. And we have to supply our own waste tank. See, there's where that plug goes. Just a little pause for a minute so you can get a good look. This is actually the start of the second video they send you for film placement. So the blue film is film B and A film is white. And before you mount it on the, and see that's where that paper tube comes in, so you'll definitely need that later. But the white film comes encased in plastic wrap, and that's not part of the film. The film itself is actually pretty thick, so make sure you take the plastic wrap off before you mount it. Alright, mounting film A. So the best way to do this is the way that he does it. So you'll see how he has the thin tube goes through the hole because this piece will not fit. So thin tube through the hole, and then you pop this piece in to secure it in place. And all the rest of the stuff goes on. You actually don't adjust the film from here, it's adjusted by this little screw. So once you secure all of this and this piece doesn't move, you can still move the film by loosening that screw and just sliding it on that thin middle bar. And the film should be sitting between the 34 centimeter and the 3 centimeter markings on the base plate that you're going for here. Now make sure that you go under this little roller here. When I set it up, it was actually on the floor. I never even saw that roller. And if you go between the two, you're going to have a sticky mess. Just trust me on that. So 34 and 3. So goes under the red roller, and you can just turn that roller rather than trying to push anything through it. And then that goes underneath that one. And you tape it and can just continue to roll. Once you tape it, roll that red roller and it will suck it up underneath. So there's your cutter. And there's your blue film getting pulled through. So something they don't tell you is that the A film is actually 2 layers. So he's not cutting the film itself, he's cutting the top layer. It's very, very thin, so if you have an X-Acto knife and just run it across, it should peel right up. Alright, and that waste layer goes back, and see it goes in between those 2 rollers. And you just tape it to there. And then that switch allows everything to talk to each other so that when you're printing, it is pulling the waste film. Alright, and your printer should be all set up. And see, they're using buttons and all that stuff to try to pull the film through, but mine, when I pull it through the bottom, actually does pull through into one piece like it's supposed to, but the roller for the waste film doesn't turn. So just be aware of that if you decide to pull film through without using any of the buttons. Alright, and looks like this is the end of my video. I hope this was helpful to everyone. And again, if you find yourself go ahead and purchasing one of these UV DTF printers or regular DTF printers, please use my promo code AAKCCraft. Thank you and have a good night.